This is Peter Parker. He is Spider-Man. This is Miles Morales. He is also Spider-Man. This is Ben Reilly. He is also Spider-Man, even though the writers don't seem to like that idea. This is Miguel O'Hara. He is also Spider-Man. Somehow. This is Peter Parker, but in the Ultimate Universe. He is Spider-Man until he wasn't anymore. This is Sydney Moon. We don't talk about Sydney Moon. All these individuals have something in common, and that is that they have all contracted a disease. A disease that started in the 80s but has become more and more rampant over the previous few years. I ask the viewers now to look at the individual to your left. Now to your right. Chances are that one of you has contracted a very dangerous disease. A dangerous new disease called Spiderman's disease. If you or a loved one have experienced any of these symptoms down below, please contact your doctor immediately. Time is of the essence. It could have already infected you. Or you. Or you. So Spider-Man 2 finally came out, and I've been waiting to play this ever since I played the first one. And it was well worth the wait. Do I think this deserves Game of the Year, though? No, I think Baldur's Gate 3 is going to beat it, but this game is still great. If you have a PS5, I would definitely recommend this. And fair warning, I'm going to be talking about the story in full, so let this be your official spoiler warning. So before we start, we might as well see the previous game recap.
Hey Pete, I'm working on a college application and it says I gotta tell them about myself.
More like sell yourself. That's the worst.
You got any advice?
Well, take me.
Oh boy, if Miles is basing his answers off Peter, he's never going to get in that college.
And I'm in love with the greatest woman ever.
Humble brag.
Who is the best journalist in this city.
No, that's wrong!
And a while back, I was bitten by a radioactive spider and got superpowers.
I can't put that in my essay.
Hey, I'm laying the track as I drive the train.
I also got bitten by a radioactive spider that gave me superpowers. I learned how to be a Spider-Man from the OG.
And then, after getting my spider powers, I 1v1'd a nuke to stop my then-girlfriend who was leading a terrorist organization. Incidentally, it's not the craziest application we ever got. Denied. This is an okay recap. They completely omit the DLC stories, which for some parts in this game, it's going to seem kinda confusing on why they would do that. But anyway, so the story starts with Harry having a bad dream, but you know what, let's not dwell on that. Peter has a job finally! As a professor to Miles' school, which I like because what I remember when I read Spider-Man as a kid, Peter was a teacher. Now, I don't know how long he was a teacher, but it was probably longer than he was in this game.
My name's Pete, Mr. Parker. And we are all very lucky today, because this is physics class, and physics is awesome.
Is false.
And of course, shenanigans happens. You know, Peter almost lets his Spider-Man shirt out. Miles has to go to the bathroom. The Sandman is out and about, and oh shit, the Sandman is out and about. Better leave in the middle of, I guess this is first period, and drop all of my clothes along with a student's clothes on the top of the building that can easily be accessed by anybody, and go after him. And man, I don't think there's a single Spider-Man game that got the swinging wrong. At least this kind of swinging, like not the ones from the PS1 Spider-Man swing or the Atari one, you know, actual swinging. But the movement is great, the speed is really, really good. The inclusion of the web wings is great, but I feel without them, we wouldn't really have lost that much, to be honest. And fast traveling is not great. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad it's there. I just didn't like that I had to unlock it by doing some side quests first. And even though I never really used it for the most part, I really enjoyed swinging around. I didn't even get to use the web wings that much too, to be honest. But this is probably the best fast travel I have seen in a video game, which is probably thanks to the solid state drive, meaning there's no loading screens, which was appreciated when I did use it the very few times to finish side quests and stuff. Oh, but you can't access the subway like the first one, even though the whole point of that was to have a fast traveling system, and it was basically just a loading screen. Bad game. And fighting in this is really good as well. I'll be honest, it throws me off a bit, mostly because for some reason, whenever I play a Spider-Man game, I'm also replaying one of the Batman games, and this time I was playing Arkham Origins on my Steam Deck. and it usually takes a bit for me to get the hang of it. Also, while I'm fairly certain there was improvements in this game, it still to me feels like the first one, which is fine. The first game's combat was great. Later on in the game, they add a parry move, which has the enemy icon go yellow then red, showing you that you can't dodge this attack, which I never liked when the games do that. If I manage to dodge the attack, don't have the guy just slingshot around to hit me. I also ended up getting hit a lot because of that, but I would argue that it's mostly the game's fault, because in the middle of battling like 10 guys at once, it's difficult to see the parry thing show up for a split second, and you never really have time to correct your mistakes. But anyway, one of the positives of this combat is that besides the hiccups I just mentioned, this combat feels more natural. Like fighting the mini Sandmans, for example. It felt like, if I didn't know I was controlling Spidey, it would look like I was watching a Spider-Man show or movie. And also, our boss from the school calls us, because, you know, we kind of just left.
Mr. Parker?
I'm sorry, who's this?
Principal Evans.
Of course, Principal
All students have evacuated their classrooms. Where are you?
Mr. Parker, any reason why it sounds like you're fighting multiple people made of sand in a collapsing building?
I'm just running back right now.
Get back here and supervise your students, or else.
Throughout the battle, you switch between Spider-Man and Spider-Man, going around and fighting the Sandman. And honestly, I hate to say it, but this is the best boss fight in the entire game. Which is sad. This fight is the most cinematic and impressive in my opinion. Every other fight after Sandman kind of pales in comparison.
Flowing in the meantime. He's done. Take your shot.
But anyway, the Webnamic duo work together to bring down the Man of Sand, with Spidey throwing water at him, and then Spidey 2, Electric Boogaloo, uses his Venom powers, no, not that Venom, we'll get to that, and crystallize and explode Sandman.
Marco, it's gonna be okay.
Haven't been okay for a long time.
If you need help, all you have to do is ask.
You're the ones who are gonna need help when they come for you.
Huh. Well, that wasn't helpful in the slightest, but hey, Sandman's beaten, maybe Peter can go back to his job and maybe salvage what's left of it.
Miles.
Spidey, why aren't you heading back? This is just cleanup. Miles can probably do this on his own. You probably don't need to be here, and oh look, you got fired. Who could have seen that coming? Now you gotta break the news to MJ, who's riding up in a motorcycle? When did she get the bike? Did she get this in the DLC? I took it from some Canadian guy when he wasn't looking.
I'm not convinced I'm a bike person.
You convinced me. I got fired.
You were so excited about this job.
I know.
I might be joining you in the unemployment line.
Jonah already cleaning house?
Sort of.
Wait, Jonah got his old job at the Daily Bugle back? How? I thought he retired to start a podcast. You could still hear the podcast in the game.
He's instituting a radical meritocracy.
Yikes, what does that even mean?
It means that whoever doesn't write a front page story in the next week is fired.
Okay, easy. Just write a piece about how Spider-Man has a tiny dick or something, and then you get to keep your job. Crisis averted.
Getting there.
Unsold Simcaria books. Running out of storage at my place. Nobody wanted to read about Simcaria.
Well, mostly because it sounded like I just made it up. And before you go into the comments, I know, Simcaria is a place in the Marvel Universe.
The Bugle is the biggest outlet in the city. I can make a difference there. But if I get fired, I don't know what I'll do.
I don't know, get a different job at a different news outlet, maybe? It's not like the Daily Bugle is the only news source in New York. Okay, let's see here. Past due... $4,700? A month? Okay, I know New York could be pretty fucking expensive, but with the brief research I did, the average cost of that area is around $3,000 a month. So even without the late fee, that's $1,500 more than it should be. This house is $500,000? It's revealed that Aunt May took a second mortgage to help pay for Feast.
You mortgaged the house to keep Feast afloat. Now I'm sinking.
But how? Why? How the fuck was she able to get the second mortgage? How is she going to pay for this? She doesn't have any kind of income. I doubt any kind of pension she would get would be enough to pay the bill. And she didn't make any money from Feast. It was a non-profit organization. She didn't even own it. Lee owned it. Why did she need to mortgage her house to keep it afloat? Aren't homeless centers like government funded or something? Why the fuck didn't Oscorp help donate? We're fucking Stark Industries. Isn't this the kind of charity big businesses donate for tax write-offs? And for that matter, why the fuck is Peter still poor? Why doesn't he just call the Avengers for help? Is he stupid? Okay, well that part was just a joke. Kind of. I forget exactly where or if I'm just being dumb, but I think they did mention that the Avengers was somewhere out west. Okay, yeah, sure, that explains like 6 New York-based heroes being absent, but you still have Daredevil, Hawkeye, Luke Cage, Falcon, Punisher, maybe, Moon Knight, Iron Fist, the frickin' Fantastic Four. I know they exist, they bought Fisk's Towers from the first game, and I don't think they would have painted a 4 on the building unless they were already the Fantastic Four. But anyway, my point being, why doesn't Peter just get a job working with the Avengers? Does S.H.I.E.L.D. not exist? Even if they didn't, Stark Industries has to exist, right? Couldn't Peter just get a job at Stark Industry as like a scientist there? And then, assuming Iron Man not only exists, but the world also knows that he's Iron Man, couldn't Peter just talk to him about being Spider-Man? So, you know, he wouldn't get fired for saving the city? And wait a fucking minute! Earlier it was revealed that Spider-Man has a 3D printer built into his web shooters.
Tell me what to do.
You've still got that 3D printer built into your web shooters, right? I need you to build something real quick.
Which, by the way, they never fucking explain it or use it outside of this part of the game, but he was able to make a workable drone in like no time flat. How is this motherfucker still poor? Patent that shit. You could have made millions. You have a mint copy of Amazing Fantasies number 15. That's worth like $1 million alone. But to be fair, in the Marvel Universe, it might not be worth that much. Mary Jane offers to cover rent while Peter gets back on his feet, but like, what journalist gets enough money to pay for an apartment in New York City and a house that's almost $5,000 a month?
It just raises too many questions.
Okay, I'm ranting way too long about this. Hey look, Harry's back. You know, Harry Osborn, Peter's best friend, who showed up for like 2 seconds in the previous game, and then it was revealed that he had the Venom symbiote at the end of that game. Time to go for a bike ride. This part is a nice little mission that shows Peter and Harry's friendship, and we even get a flashback to when Spider-Man was just starting out and had to deal with his most devious villain yet, the janitor.
Who's that? Where'd he go? Whose footprints are these? Snake, are you okay? Snake? Snake!
Which gives us a minute for some hoops. You sure you're up for this? Question is, are you? Let's see it, big talker.
Oh, shakalaka!
A little rusty, no biggie. I've been busy and...
Oh, shakalaka! Oh, shakalaka! This is so Harry can show Peter that he made a new tech company, the Emily May Foundation, which is named after Harry's mother Emily and Aunt May, with Peter as a co-founder and co-owner. Which is not only super convenient to him just losing his job, but if I know anything about Spider-Man, this can only go well. Oh, and also Kraven is here. Did I forget to mention that? Kraven is one of my favorite Spider-Man villains, so I really like that they brought him in here. I just wish they kind of did him better. Okay, so Kraven's whole deal is that he's a hunter, even though he doesn't hunt in this game, but I'll get to that in a bit. And he also has like cancer or some shit that instead of finding a way to cure it, this is the Marvel Universe after all, I'm pretty sure cancer has to be curable with how technologically advanced this world seems. But no, instead he's on his lifelong quest to find the biggest and baddest game to hunt and maybe kill him. Which, okay, I can see the leaps of logic you're making there, Sergey, but in the world where the Hulk and Thor exist, you choose this guy? Oh, wait, I'm sorry, he didn't choose Spider-Man at first, he apparently chose the fucking Sandman first. Yeah, That's what his whole deal was. He was freaking out because Kraven's hunters were trying to capture him, and they fucked it up royally. Which also, by the way, after this fight, he fucks off for the rest of the game. Besides like a tiny side quest you get after the fight. So now Kraven is going after Scorpion and Mr. Negative, which his hunters intercept them, getting transferred from Raft Island to Ravencroft. And why the fuck are you moving them to the Institute for the Criminally Insane? Anyway, so the Spider-Mans are overlooking the transfer, and the hunters attack. Which Miles also kind of messes up and lets them get Scorpion and Mr. Negative, which I don't know how it's Miles' fault. He blames himself for it, though. I mean, sure, he accidentally releases Scorpion, which, why the fuck did you guys let him keep his tail in poison? Who the hell thought that was a good idea? Look, I know he's stuck in the suit, but you could have, like, cut the tail off at least, I'm pretty sure. And Miles also gets his Venom powers enhanced. Okay, so I have to ask, why are they called Venom powers? It has nothing to do with Venom in any way. It's electricity based, and he gets his upgrades by Mr. Negative. Apparently he doesn't, but when Miles gets near him, his powers not only changes color, but gets enhanced in some way. Plus, when you fight him later on, you have to use said power to hurt him, so I don't know. But anyway, Kraven gets them both and then kills Scorpion. Okay, so I can complain about Kraven some more. He's not really well written into this game, at least in my opinion. And this is my show, so it's correct. Kraven, if you couldn't tell by his name, is a hunter, but throughout the game he sends his private militia, which, by the way, how the fuck are you able to not only make such a large and advanced militia, but are also able to sneak it into America without anyone knowing? Especially in the Marvel Universe. Anyway, my point being, he doesn't hunt. He sends his guys out to go capture the people he wants to quote-unquote hunt, and then he sticks them in a room to fight 1v1, which isn't hunting, that's gladiatorial fights. And he kills off almost every villain you fight in the previous game off-screen. Scorpion is like the only one that you see die. And that includes the Vulture, which, good job dude, you just killed a 78-year-old man who has no powers besides a suit that grants him flight. That must have been such a great hunt. Rhino, I think, it's not really confirmed, but he kind of is. And Electro, and Shocker. Shocker! You got away from me! I don't know. Out of all the possible choices in New York, I don't think Mr. Geriatrics and someone named Herman, whose biggest thing is robbing banks, is the best hunting target, is all I'm saying. Wouldn't Taskmaster have been like a better choice? I mean, you also picked Tombstone, which, okay, maybe, but Black Cat? The whole point of you choosing supervillains was because their powers gave them advantage, so why Black Cat? She has no powers, she's just a cat burglar. And the Lizard, which I think out of all of these choices is the only actual choice. Besides Spider-Man, but again, he doesn't seem to care about him until later in the game. But I'm also getting a little bit ahead of myself. Peter goes to the Emily May Foundation, and we get the side quests involving that.
So, what do you think?
Dad, Pete hasn't decided he's joining yet.
Oh, really?
You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
I'll talk about side quests in a little bit. We also see that Dr. Connors, he's the Lizard by the way, is Harry's personal doctor to help find a cure for his terminal illness. With what, you may ask? Space goo! No, seriously, they thought it was a good idea to stick some random goo from space onto Harry, and that it would kill the disease inside of him. Which, it also gives him superpowers in his own suit. And, after finding out Peter is Spider-Man, he'll actually join you for a few missions, and even show up outside of them around New York fighting criminals. It's a really nice inclusion, even though you can't see them all moving around. I think they only really appear in the middle of a fight. It's still pretty cool. While that's happening, Miles is sent to go warn Black Cat about Kraven, because blah 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 first game DLC they didn't bother mentioning in the recap. And I just unlocked the Black Panther costume for Miles, so if I go in dressed as a cat, that's going to make negotiations go smoothly. We find out that the hunters are already on her tail, and she's stealing from Doctor Strange's place. It's some kind of weird weapon that lets her teleport, so we can have this cool chase sequence that takes full advantage of the SSD, and have us teleport to various different places. The reason why she took it is because her girlfriend is in trouble in Paris, and after fighting off some more of Kraven's men, we help her get to Paris. And then she proceeds to not be in the rest of the game. Yeah, Black Cat was only in this mission. But at least we have a neat cameo, sort of, from Wong and Doctor Strange. We then head to the carnival at Coney Island, where Miles' friend Haley, who is also his love interest, is having an art exhibit. But for some reason, he goes to the Mysterio's magical holodeck thing first that can read your mind, which translates to a boring minigame that only shows up here and all it does is waste your fucking time. And opens up the Mysterium side quests. Cause something technobabble machine messes up and Miles has to fight off Mr. Negative goons, and even though they were watching the whole thing, Mysterio and his group never realizes that Miles is Spider-Man. But then Miles is too upset for some reason and bails on Haley, which you didn't really miss much, Miles. I went to the exhibit as Peter and it wasn't great. But yeah, Miles goes home, I guess, and we play as Peter, hanging out with Harry and MJ, playing some mini games to get prizes that doesn't really matter because it's not like you get to keep it past this mission, and in the next cutscene it's gone. Kraven's goons then go after Tombstone, which, again, why? His only superpower is that he's invulnerable. Which, okay, sure, that's better than Black Cat, but if I remember correctly, he lost that power in the first game, so now he's just a guy. But this is where Harry finds out that Peter is Spider-Man, which leads up to the next mission, where you infiltrate a hideout with Harry to save Tombstone. Because they put him in there for some reason, even though Kraven has a location already where he fights the people he captures, and Felicia tells them this because she heard it from the radio she took from one of the hunters. Even though I'm fairly certain Paris is a little too far away from New York and the radio probably wouldn't work, but whatever. We get to see Harry be a hero with his best friend Peter, and it's really cool, and this is the only level he's going to be using the suit. Yep. After a lame mission with Miles about a music museum, who cares, we see MJ doing quite possibly the dumbest fucking thing she probably could have done. She jumps into one of the hunter's vans to get information and then gets inadvertently dragged to Kraven's hideout. An abandoned zoo in New Jersey. How? How the fuck did Kraven buy an abandoned zoo? Did no one notice that a militia was moving a bunch of military equipment, drones that look like giant birds, and robot dog cat things? How long did it take them to set this shit up? Shouldn't the US and the Marvel Universe be the one fucking place you can't just sneak in and start a micronation without tipping someone off? I'll never understand this. Batman was like this with the Arkham Knight's army. How can someone do this without learning any kind of government forces? Anyway, you sneak around as MJ, which these sneaking parts in the first one were always the worst part. At least there's only like 2 or 3 of them this time in this game. Luckily, she manages to find Connor's phone, and Harry was calling, so she can tell them where she is.
Harry, it's MJ. I'm at an abandoned zoo in Jersey. It's...
An abandoned zoo in Jersey? Well, now we know exactly where she is. You know, in the comics, MJ had the Spidey tracker that she can activate to alert Spider-Man's spider senses to her location, you know, in case she ever gets into trouble. Just saying, you probably could have included that somewhere in this game. He's been Spider-Man for like, what, 10 years now? MJ tries to save Dr. Connors, but Kraven catches her, and then he injects Connor with the lizard serum, turning him into the lizard. Once Spider-Man and Spidey Osborn show up, Spider-Man finally fights Kraven. Alright, let's go, and... oh. What, were your Spidey senses on vacation or something? Since Spidey got stabbed in the side, I guess his accelerated healing factor also took a vacation. Harry fights Kraven, making the Venom symbiote his new target. And then Harry gives the Venom suit to Peter to help heal him, which gives us the Venom suit finally.
What happened?
With the Venom suit, Spider-Man kind of acts more aggressively, but not really. I don't actually think there's much of a change. Sure, on the surface it looks more violent, but I'm pretty sure they're the same animations as before, which it's not really that big of a deal. It was probably easier to just do it this way, and it doesn't really take anything away from the game, so really, who cares?
Opening fire!
You and Jeff will Kraven has been second.
Stop hovering. I'm fine. Maybe some water.
Water. On it.
So... the suit cured your...
Yeah.
Which means without it, you...
Yeah.
I don't think it means what you think it means.
But if it was cured, wouldn't that mean it wouldn't be coming back? Because otherwise it wasn't cured, it was just suppressed. This is one of my biggest problems with this game's story. I personally don't think they explained this well enough. Like, the whole point of Harry wearing this symbiote was to cure his disease. So he was like wearing it for like 3, if not more years. And as soon as the symbiote moves from Harry to Peter, he quickly develops the disease again and becomes extremely sick. So really my biggest question is, why the fuck did they think putting alien goo on Harry was a good idea to begin with? But then I have to ask, Harry seems pretty sure that his problem will come back, so Dr. Connors had to have known that as well, right? And I know, Harry's disease in real life, there's no cure. But this is the Marvel Universe we're talking about. They could have at very least found some way to treat it besides aliens. Hell, Norman has been trying to find a cure for this since the 80s apparently, and you're telling me that the 8th richest man in the Marvel Universe couldn't find a cure? This dude found the cure for cancer! So anyway, Peter tries to give the suit back to Harry, but he can't. So now he's stuck with it. But fortunately, there's a pawn shop that specializes in knives, like the one Kraven stabbed Peter with, which is beyond lucky, honestly, that somehow MJ knows that. Which leads us to some bonfires on rooftops, which no one seems to notice, which leads us to a shipping area looking for vodka, which will lead us to a social club for a party that Kraven is hosting. Again, without anyone noticing somehow. This just gets more ridiculous as we move on. Peter decides to sneak into the party, but won't be able to, dressed up as Spider-Man. What is he going to do?
Kitchen entrance.
You should change. The classic Peter Parker look isn't gonna cut it.
Too bad my tux is at the dry cleaners. Huh? Whoa. I'm a spy. A spider spy.
Yeah, nobody's going to expect the floating head man. What the fuck is that? Is that a floating head? Yeah, whatever. Go deliver this food to Kraven's bodyguard.
Bodyguard?
Dima, move!
Well,
Okay, Dima, time for yum-yums from your friendly neighborhood floating head. Oh my god, Kraven's bodyguard is John Cena. Yeah, for some reason, the game got really buggy for me at this part. And it was just this part. It was perfectly fine afterwards, besides, like, a side quest later on. Although, after this mission, Spider-Man kept falling through the floor, which even continued when I exited to the main menu. So, yeah, John Cena was actually supposed to be a tiger. Why the actual fuck Kraven was able to keep an actual tiger in this country club in the middle of New York without alerting someone is beyond me. Oh, and also, good job, boss, for not letting your employee know that Dima was a fucking tiger. Maybe it's just me, but something like that should have been brought up in the conversation. So Spider-Man goes to grab the meat that he left and a dart of a 300-year-old poison, combining the two to feed the John Cena. Which, I'm no doctor, but if it was enough to sedate this tiger in no time, then that regular guy that Spider-Man tricked into getting shot with a dart is definitely dead. So good job, Spider-Man, you killed a man.
He's a menace to the entire city!
So after petting nothing for several minutes, we snoop through Kraven's stuff to find out that he's at the church. He's there to set a trap for Spider-Man with the church bells, because he knows that sound hurts him. I don't know why I'm walking in here. Oh no, what happened to Cena? Oh no, Spidey is caught. Might as well beat up everyone. Why didn't he just start with this exactly? We get to the church, but don't fight Kraven this time. It's only a cutscene. And Spider-Man gets the lizard serum.
Why don't you set it free?
I'm just here to save my friend.
Which Harry and Peter then used to get the cure at the Emily May Foundation, which the hunters were able to track Spider-Man to somehow and attack and destroy the facility.
Harry! Are you hurt?
I'm fine. We both are. But the Foundation...
I don't care about that right now. Are you sure you're okay?
You know, I just remembered Peter owed like $5,000 in mortgages, so is he getting paid at this job? Did he work long enough to get paid? Did Norman offer to pay for the house to help Peter decide on whether or not he wants the job? Are we actually ever going to get back to that subplot? Oh yeah, I haven't talked about the side quests yet. And they're just okay, unfortunately. They kind of feel like an afterthought. In the first Spider-Man game, the side quests were really good, and there was a lot of them. Here, there's less, and it definitely feels like less. Which, even though I really like this game, it overall makes it feel pretty unfinished. For example, in the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man app quests, there's like 6 of them, which in Miles Morales' solo game, there was a lot more if I remember correctly, which is pretty sad. And these app quests aren't that great, except maybe Howard's quest, which might make you feel something. But other than that, they all seem like a hassle and busy work to get through. But besides that, there's also The Flame, which I'll talk about in a bit. And then you have Miles' 2 personal side quests. There's the Culture Museum, which I solved the mystery in the very first mission. Oh, yep, he did it. He stole the instruments, he's guilty, he did it. And the quest line around Miles' school, which I couldn't give any less of a shit to help these idiots. You get this quest first by doing the Miles exclusive mission, where he goes to a dumb school fair thing to talk to some college recruiter. But oh no, he loses the opportunity when a teacher is kidnapped. For some reason, they never really explain why several armed guards kidnapped her, and it's never brought up after this, so who cares? Miles' friend Genki pulls a pretty dick move and had the interviewer talk to Miles in the middle of this stealth part, even though Genki knows Miles is Spider-Man and in the middle of something, and Miles could have just said he was busy and had to talk to him later, but no, sure, let's ruin whatever chance you have. But then he doesn't, because why not?
But I could tell you were clearly busy with something important. Mr. Sinclair put in an excellent word for you, as did Principal Evans. So let's do this right and meet this week on campus, in person.
Wow, they held the tension for a full second.
Thanks to Spider-Man, our treasured teacher, Miss Ferguson, is back with us safe and sound.
You can thank me by rehiring Peter Parker as Miles Morales' teacher, who I in no way have any relations with. Also, I do not like this principal. I don't know why exactly, but I'm fairly certain she's going to be a villain at some point. But anyway, this opens up the school side activities, and they all suck. Like, okay, help a student ask his boyfriend, I think they were already dating, to homecoming, and that was an okay mission. But if you ask me, it's a bit of overkill to ask someone to homecoming like this. But the other missions suck and are extremely convoluted. Like, I have to help these people find some mascot costume because a rival school stole it. What kind of school does this kind of shit, where in order to find the costume, you gotta fuck around with mirrors and solve puzzles? Like, why? Who is this for? What does this accomplish? Who benefits from this? Who had time to set all of this up? There's multiple spots you have to go. And most of this is set up in a way that only Spider-Man could solve it. And also, they're just here waiting for the student to find them, so I'm 100% convinced they were going to kick their asses, but then they didn't when they saw Spider-Man open the door up. Also, pretty sure there might be a person in that costume, so yeah, kidnapping. These guys are going to jail. And then this stupid quest where I gotta take photos for someone else's project. I'm pretty sure you can't just get outside help like this for projects, but I'm fucking Spider-Man. I got bigger things to do. Several criminals just got out of prison and there's a private militia taking over the state for funsies. But sure, let me just go through Mysterio's dumb virtual reality side quest. How the fuck do we have holodeck technology, but we still need space gack to heal Harry's disease? Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think they really thought some of this stuff through with its implications, which means there's a lot of leaps in logic in the story, but to be fair, that's just like the comics. Like this one side quest, The Flame, where all of a sudden there's a citywide cult full of pyromaniacs, and they just kind of just show up, with Officer Yuri now going rogue, teaming up with you to fight them. And this quest line takes forever. Mostly because you have to progress through the story to get to the next part of the quest, but let me tell you the end of this questline now. So it's revealed that the leader of this cult is Cletus Cassidy, which, if you don't know who that is, I wouldn't really blame you for not knowing his name, but you would know his villain's name, Carnage. Carnage. Yeah, they somehow put Carnage into this game. Sort of. So Yuri explains that the followers of the Flames were stopped before, but she couldn't get the cult leader. Which, how does Spider-Man not know this? If she dealt with them before, wouldn't they have been in New York? And Cletus is a prophet or something, and has predicted something called the Crimson Hour. But it's revealed that the Crimson Hour is just an illusion to his real plans, which is to get the Carnage symbiote. Haha, this was my plan all along, Spider-Man. I somehow knew that this Oscorp train had a symbiote, even though that shit definitely ain't public knowledge, and also knew that for some reason it would be on this train, and it would be here at this time. And I know what it is exactly, even though, again, we just got the Venom in the story yet, so how could he have known about the Carnage symbiote? Doesn't Venom give birth to him? How did you even plan all this shit ahead of time? This must have taken months.
This is starting to sound like a bad comic book plot.
Where was I going with this? I feel like I had a point. Oh, yeah, the story is all over the place, which I think is part of the developer's fault, and part of it's my fault. Just like the first game, as soon as I was given a side task to do, I focused on doing that. Like the backpacks from the first one, for example, once that side task was unlocked, I didn't bother continuing the main mission until I collected all of them. And that's the same here. I don't really know why. I only did that for these two Spider-Man games, I believe. If I had to guess, it's just because this game is really fun to 100%. Although I do think the first one was better in that regard. It's just so much fun web swinging around New York, and it's really nice looking, and it feels alive. But the soda and the trash cans aren't realistic enough. Bad game, 0 out of 10, too many angles, hashtag not my Spider-Man. Yeah, apparently when this game came out, there were a lot of people that were just making up complaints and trying to tear it apart. Like with the soda cans that I just mentioned. The fact that you can't use the Metro, even though that was the fast travel system in the first game. And the whole reason why they had that was a loading screen. And you don't really need a loading screen anymore, so they don't really need that. And some nonsensical complaints, like hailing a cab, getting a Nathan hot dog, or a slice of pizza.
Is that what you came here to play? Man 3?
Yeah, I do remember seeing some complaints about how it's basically the same map from the first one. You know, it's also the same map from Spider-Man 2 on the PS2. It's New York! It's a real place, maybe you heard of it! New Yorkers are from there, unfortunately. And also, that's not really true, because they added like a whole other side to the map. Plus, there's some updates with the city, like the before-mentioned Fantastic Four building. But that isn't to say that there isn't any valid complaints to this game. Like, for example, the selfies are gone. That was probably the one of two things that wasn't brought in from the first game that I missed, and I can't really think of a real reason why they left it out besides that they just forgot about it. But in the first game, I used the photo mode a lot, and I made sure to take selfies with all the bosses, all in different costumes too. Oh, that's another complaint I have as well. The costumes in this are kind of lacking, which is weird because I think there's more here, and at least this has the web suit in the base game. Another plus is that almost every costume, I think just the movie-specific ones you can't change, comes with 4 variations of colors. But some of these colors look almost exactly the same. And oh god, the digital deluxe costumes are kind of ugly. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I used any of them. But I do like that we technically get 2 other Venom suits, but only one gets the black webs like the base Venom suit. And Miles gets some cool suits as well, except for like one suit, which we won't see until the end. One of my favorites is definitely the Wolverine-like suit. One of the side missions I didn't like, and also think they didn't really think through, is the Chameleon side quest. You know, the Chameleon, one of Spider-Man's worst villains, and that includes Homewrecker and Printout Man. Anyway, this side quest isn't fun, it ultimately leads nowhere and could have not been included and nothing would have changed. And he also technically spoils the game.
Don't worry, brother. I will do what you could not.
Stop telling people I'm dead. And then you also have this side quest where you're stuck having to do 3 different bases to get to the main Kraven base, and you have to do that multiple times, and each time you learn more about Kraven's family and how they're going to show up in America. But not really, because the last mission shows that his daughter killed everyone and then herself. So yeah, that was kind of pointless. One last thing I think was done worse in this game than the others was the podcasts. And is it just me, or was there a lot less of them this time around? And I hate to say it, but I kind of wish I turned the Danny cast off. I don't remember it being that bad in Miles' game, but in here, that podcast is really annoying. Plus, for some reason, she mentions a lot of stuff that I have to question on how she got this kind of information.
Okay, friends, my feeds are blowing up about the commotion out in Jersey. A fire at the old zoo? A secret hunter base? And Spider-Man trying on his friend's black suit? Things are getting weird out there, folks. I mean, I know there's a lot of excitement about SM's black is the new black look, and I mean, it is fire and all, but isn't it just a tad moody for our friendly neighborhood so-and-so? No takers? Just me? Okay, well, you know, you come to me for the real, so I'm just trying to deliver.
How did you know about the parts you weren't there for?
Friends of the Danicast, I woke up today with one question on my mind. What the hell happened at the Emily May Foundation last night? One minute we're talking philanthropy and using the means of production for good, and the next we're looking at a war zone. And yeah, listen, clearly those hunters were involved. Clearly they're the baddies here. But y'all saw the same footage of Spider-Man I did, yeah? The way that new black suit moves, how vicious it is. Call me a worrywart if you want.
I don't know how JJ has a podcast still either, because he owns the Daily Bugle again. You would think he wouldn't have time to make a podcast, but still. Spider-Man has taken the lizard serum to pollute the water supply and make the frickin' frogs gay. Well, anyway, let's move on with the story. We track the lizard to his house, and then we get that trailer from the showcase a while back, and we chase him around the docks. Hey, Miles, why the hell are you dressed like Logan?
It's Spider-Man! It's fighting on right now!
How is nobody concerned about these guys at this point? Does the Marvel Universe not have like a National Guard or something? Lizard gets away, and Peter gets more and more angry because the Venom symbiote starts to take over.
Let's go, man, before he gets too far.
No. He's mine.
You sure? He's got big teeth.
So do I.
But I don't know if it's because in between missions you're supposed to do some side quests and stuff, and because I do them all when I get them, the game just skips ahead or not, but Spider-Man goes from like 0 to 11 really quick. So we chase the lizard down into the sewers and find an abandoned underground lab.
What the hell did Norman have Connors working on back here? This symbol. Didn't know Connors studied ancient languages.
Oh yeah, alien language. A spiral, which probably means that Venom is connected to the devil or something.
Now, the first thing I want you to notice is, do you notice any symbol up there that you've seen before? The spiral. And it stands for what? Male fertility. Okay?
Oh my god, a rock!
Was that me?
So now we have the lizard fight, which also introduces us to a third combat thing this far into the game. Attacks that you have to avoid. And this fight's not great. It's just 3 rounds of the same thing with a chase sequence in the middle. Which, the chase is pretty cool and cinematic, but the different areas you fight all look the same.
He's dying, Doc! I can't lose him! You're the only one who can help him! No wonder your family left you! You're not strong enough!
Oh gee, Spidey, tell him how you really feel. After giving the good doc his medicine, he tells you about the symbiotes, which, if you're already familiar with Venom, there's nothing really new to this, but it's still good nonetheless. And this is also how Connors lost his arm, apparently.
Fascinating. Shoot it off!
Do it!
Which begs the question, when was this, and when was Dr. Connors the Lizard? He said years ago, and in the first Spider-Man game, he had a vial of the Lizard's blood in one of the backpacks, which means it has to have been while Peter was in high school, right? But Even then, why did they think it was an okay idea to attach this thing to Harry? I don't think I'm ever gonna fully get over that.
I'm wearing an alien. We call it a symbiote.
A symbiote, if you're stupid.
He gave it to you? Not exactly. I was hurt, and it chose you. Which means it's more dangerous than I could have imagined. We need to call Oscorp. We need to destroy it. Destroy us?
Oh yeah, now that I think of it, it was a stupid idea to say we must destroy it in front of the living alien I just said was more dangerous than I thought.
You said it chose me, Dub.
Connors is cured, the suit's still going strong, and apparently is called a symbiote. Oh, and it's an alien, which is pretty nuts, right?
Wait, what? You don't sound concerned.
I'm a little concerned, but I also couldn't have stopped Connors without it.
Peter, the two of you tore through half the city. Like, did you see what you did to the museum? I'm honestly surprised nobody got killed.
Okay, but to be fair, like, every boss fight you have in these games kind of leads to the city destruction. In fact, I think this is actually the least destructive of them all. Especially compared to Sandman's. So, Spider-Man, after a hard day's night and working like a dog, he goes to sleep like a log, while Kraven's men assault the house. The Venom suit doing that thing in the comics where it goes around and beats up people while Spider-Man is asleep. I honestly don't know how Kraven thinks his men can bring in Spider-Man at this point. But we're stuck with the second MJ level, and we get a web shooter for this section, but like the last one, it's not that great. This part leads to MJ wrecking her bike. God, Wolverine is not going to be happy about this one. And we have to run away from Venom, while Miles fights Kraven's men outside before getting kidnapped to be used as bait. Peter gets a Bully Maguire-like outfit, and then goes to have a fight with Harry and MJ.
I need that suit back.
Look at little Goblin Jr. Gonna cry?
You're not yourself. That suit is changing you.
This suit is the only reason I'm still alive.
Yeah, it's pretty great, isn't it?
Why don't you pop some more pills and say what you really feel?
Hey!
While that happens, Miles is in prison, so we have to escape and wait. Is this the club that Peter snuck into earlier? There's a complete underground prison and arena. How the fuck? And you know what? I'm just going to stop bringing this point up because clearly there's no security here in New York. I guess when the Avengers leave, it just becomes the Purge or something. So we go to the arena where Kraven watches people fight to the death. I thought his whole point was the hunt. Why is he just watching? Shouldn't he be the one killing everyone? And now we have to fight with Mr. Negative, which in the middle of this, for some reason, we have to go through this dream sequence. That I guess Kraven is just watching them stand there for like several minutes while this is happening. Before Miles throws Lee out of the prison. With Lee out, he contacts Peter and tells him where Miles is, which finally leads us to a fight with Kraven.
I'm assured that material is unbreakable. But I believe anything can be broken.
Okay, yeah, sure, it's unbreakable, but it fell on top of him. The bottom isn't sealed. I think he would just be able to lift it. But sure, let's just have the Venom symbiote break it. Sure, why not?
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
Ding dong! Ding dong! Dinner's served! Come and get it!
As it turns out, with these bosses, if you just store your abilities up and use them plus the knockout attack, you can make them lose a lot of health very quickly. And now you gotta fight Peter as Miles. And I have to say, I really like this part of the story, with Miles helping Peter overcome the suit. It's just really nice that Miles is the one to help Peter get out of the symbiote suit.
Come on, man. Just focus on me. Come on! I'm stronger than this. You hear me?
Wait, where did you get that?
Thank you for everything.
It's what Spider-Man do.
Spider-Man didn't save me back there.
No, Peter, don't say that. You'll start a hashtag movement. With the suit off, we have to go to Dr. Connors and finally destroy it. Hopefully nothing happens to start off the third act, and oh no, Harry!
My hero.
Harry, we've got to destroy it. It's too dangerous. I don't want you to lose yourself like I did.
Pete, please.
You don't understand. Connor said it was...
I saved your life? You won't save mine? Do you want me to die?
With Harry attaching himself to the Venom symbiote, we finally get Venom. All 19 inches of him. Also, I think I picked the wrong Spidey suit for this.
No! Don't hurt him! Non-lethal! Just get it off of him!
So did Oscorp really spend maybe 8+ years studying the symbiote and not realize that it's weak to sound? Just sound, mind you. The creators of this game decided not to make them weak to fire as well. Which isn't that big of a deal, I just didn't know where else to mention it. And now we get to play as Venom for like 4 minutes. I don't know why it's like this. It's not like we ever get to change to him again. Maybe they were planning on making a Venom DLC or spinoff or something. But with it, we fight Kraven again. It's probably the easiest boss fight in the game. Venom hits like a truck. And then he bites Kraven's head off, because something he likes to eat brains in the comics for some reason. Okay, final part of this game, and this review has gone on way too long, so let's just speed this up a bit. Now that Venom is here and the game takes a note from Web of Shadows, he has the symbiotes take over New York. Which you would think would get the Avengers or even the X-Men or even S.H.I.E.L.D.'s attention, but no, 2 Spider-Mans will have to stop them all themselves. This introduces us to the last group of enemies we'll be fighting, the symbiotes, who all suck. Fighting any of them suck, they're practically invincible up until near the end of the game, and they also start quite possibly one of the worst side quests in this game, where you just have to hold them off from a device that'll explode and destroy their nests in a few minutes. It's not really much to say about it. It's terrible, and even the suit you get for it is terrible as well. Venom gets to MJ and then turns her into Scream, one of the many children of Venom. You know, like Carnage. It would have been cool to maybe see like the other spawns as well, but yeah, I think she's the most popular, so it makes sense why she was there. But she's also the worst boss fight in this game. Like, holy shit, she's the most difficult for some reason. So, to fight the symbiotes effectively, you need to use sound. Okay, makes sense. And at this point, Spider-Man's web concussion grenade things are equipped with the sound frequencies that beat the symbiotes. So you use them to stun her. Plus, you can use the cars scattered around to activate their car alarms to stun her, and the metal bars to stun her as well. Except, there isn't enough. You'll run out very quickly, and she hits relentlessly. And you can't really use them again unless you die and have to restart a checkpoint, so I hope you knocked her down a bar of health before that happened. All the while, she starts saying stuff to Peter, which I'm pretty sure is a bit of her actual feelings, so I don't know how this relationship heals after this, honestly.
Don't listen to those voices! They aren't telling the truth! I heard them too! I know how it feels!
Always about you! You can't keep a job! You can't pay the mortgage!
I have a job! With Harry! We'll be okay!
And for how long? There's only one job you care about!
People need me! You know that!
What would the city do without Spider-Man? Look how it's doing with you!
I can still fix this! I always do! We always do!
I always come second! I live in your shadow where my dreams turn to dust!
Remember your book? You said you want to help people!
Nobody read it! Nobody cares! All I do is help you!
MJ!
My life is constantly interrupted by you! Looking for answers, leads, because you lost a job or can't pay a bill! I write words I don't believe in for a man I despise, so you can be happy!
I didn't realize! MJ, you can quit!
Wait. Not yet.
Watson, where are you with my apple fritters? I'm starving.
Did Jonah hit his head or something? He just got off the phone with MJ and told her to get to writing.
I hate this.
I love this.
You do?
You've hit the nail on the head. Finally! Top story. Everybody's talking about it. This is editor material.
Editor?
Congratulations. Your first assignment, write more juicy stuff by tomorrow morning. Drama, controversy, just like this.
Like this.
Get writing! Watson, where are you with my apple fritters? I'm starving, and
Jonah? Kiss my ass. I quit.
Watson!
You're so cool.
Yeah, MJ, now we're both going to be homeless. We then go to fight some symbiotes at City Hall, where Peter gets that symbiote in him again, but Mr. Negative is here to save the day, and after another acid trip, he turns Peter's symbiote into anti-venom. Which, yeah, sure, Mr. Negative did turn Venom into anti-venom in the comics, but I guess we're never going to actually figure out what the fuck his powers can actually do. But hey, the anti-venom symbiote apparently can cure any form of disease, so you're going to make Mr. Negative do that to Harry next, right, Peter? Right? You're going to do that next, right?
I spent years of my life consumed with vengeance and lost everything for it. You two reminded me that that's not who I am. When you help someone, you help everyone.
Where are you gonna go?
To set things right. Your way.
You're still very much a terrorist, and you broke out of jail. You're gonna have to go back to... You know what? Fuck it. We'll just let you go off with a warning.
Reforming your greatest enemy. Can't say I've ever done that.
What the fuck are you talking about? You met Tombstone trying to fix up his life in this game. And Sandman. Yeah, I know he said greatest, but still.
Why would the city need me when it has you?
I don't know. This city still looks like a Spider-Man job to me.
Especially since the Avengers is nowhere to be found. Like, seriously, they couldn't send Hawkeye back? Venom goes to get the rock thing from earlier. Why does he need this exactly? Does it, like, boost his powers? They never really explained this. And we're now at the end of this game, where Miles sells out and wears one of the stupidest outfits I've ever seen.
There. Sure glad I don't look stupid in this.
And yeah, you heard me right. Sells out. That's an Adidas promotion. In the same game where Miles says Spider-Man doesn't take endorsements. Yeah. Honestly, it's not all that bad. Don't get me wrong, it's not great. This is like the second original suit for Miles. But why did they make the mask like this? The neon blue, I think they needed to tone it down a little bit. And what, did he get those shoes custom made? When? When did he get that done? Oh my god, I'm bitching about a fictional suit that's not even going to be in the next game. What has become of my life? What sucks is, I thought because I was able to switch the suit out immediately, I wasn't going to be forced to wear this. But no, once you start the final mission, it's going to switch back to it. You're forced to complete the game in this. But before that, Miles saves Haley and manages to ask her out.
What are you doing here?
It was monsters attack, and I offered up the center for shelter. New suit? I like it. It suits you.
Girl, quit lying. Final fight with Venom. We fight at the school that both Harry and Peter attended. This fight isn't really that bad. Again, I think Sandman's fight was probably the best one, and almost every fight kind of blends together. But I think this is up there as one of the best. While Peter fights Venom in his inches, MJ and Miles goes to take the rock to the particle accelerator at the Emily May Foundation. And I guess it's still standing, even though the whole place burnt down. And then we have to fight Venom as Miles. And when the fuck could Venom sprout wings? Well, okay, I guess we're going down the Nightmare from Soul Calibur 3 look. And then with the accelerator activated, we finally defeat Venom and kill off all the symbiotes. Yes, I have the Carnage symbiote now, and with it, I shall bring the entire world into anarchy. Well, I guess that dream's dead. I don't think they're all dead, because you still fight them after this, but that could just be a gameplay thing with them being the last group of people you fight. And with the symbiote gone, Harry is now in a coma. Norman Osborn hints at him or Harry becoming Green Goblin in the next game. Mary Jane starts a podcast, which I guess anyone in this universe can just start them.
I hope you'll join me on this journey. This has been Mary Jane Watson, and you're listening to The New Normal.
That's a horrible name, MJ. You should definitely workshop that. Hey, did you just upload that without any kind of editing? What the So, what? This show is going to last like 3 episodes at the most, right?
Oh, what's the difference between wheat cakes, pancakes, and flapjacks?
Episode 1. Done.
Nice.
Yum, I'll take those.
Oh yeah, 4 pancakes. That'll feed all of us. Thanks, Peter. Peter then tells Miles he needs a break. I personally don't think Peter is ever going to fully retire. Even if we just play as Miles in the next game, Peter's probably just going to show up as Spider-Man as like an NPC or the mentor role. They're also just probably setting up Peter and Mary Jane getting married and having a kid together. Plus, we finished the last side quest with the Emily May Foundation thing, and we get another pretty bad suit, but hey, at least it's better than Miles' original.
We're in good health. Oh yeah.
Ha 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 ha! Your costume is ridiculous!
Then, after the end credits, there's a scene where Miles finally meets the guy who's banging his mom. It was mentioned earlier in the game, I just never really bothered bringing it up.
Meet you. Oh, and this is my daughter, Cindy.
I'm sorry, did you not just hear the PSA from the beginning? We don't talk about Sydney. And that was Spider-Man 2, and although I really liked it, I don't think it's going to be Game of the Year, or even better than the first one. Even though I bashed this game's story and talked a lot about what I didn't like, which was a lot more than I originally thought when I started writing this, but it is still a good game. It's not something to rush to go get a PS5 for, though, but if you have a PS5 already and you like Spider-Man, you should definitely consider getting this and maybe even the first remastered one. And Miles Morales, but I don't know how essential it is to play through that one, considering that was just like a side game. And hey, I'm excited to see what they're going to do with the DLC and the third game. Plus that Wolverine game that's coming out in like 2025. I have a lot of high hopes for that one. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did and want to see more and see me review the Wolverine game when it comes out, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It'll help me in the algorithm and help others see this video as well. And comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this game. Maybe you even like the Miles original costume. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, you guys take care.